I think the perfect way to look at the game from a defensive perspective against the Browns is that's a starting off point. You've got to start somewhere. The Bengals are trying to, even though they didn't overhaul the personnel, to a degree they're trying to overhaul their defense from what it was last year, which was a huge liability, into eventually a strength. That was not going to happen overnight, and obviously because of what the front office did and didn't do, it wasn't going to happen with this huge, massive infusion of talent from elsewhere. Now, Shamar Stewart looked the part on Sunday, and Demetrius Knight looked the part on Sunday. And so you talk about starting somewhere. Give me what those two did to start their NFL careers, and it continues through. I think TJ Slaton's a good pickup. You saw him. The player that I noticed more than anybody else in real time was Logan Wilson. Logan Wilson looked fast. He was around the ball. He made plays. For most of the season last year, I didn't notice Logan Wilson. What I was looking for from a defensive perspective on Sunday was, number one, win the football game. Number two, tackle better. And rise to the occasion physically. Those two things happened. Like, it sounds basic, right? But before we can talk about all the things that Al Golding can do with his scheme and can they slow down elite offenses, which they didn't play, in order to be able to do that, you've got to start to plant some seeds. You've got to put down some building blocks. Whatever metaphor you want to use, it has to start somewhere. No better place to start than week one. Now, they passed that test. It's not the most advanced test, but, typically the first test you take is the easiest, and then the next one's a little bit more difficult, and that's going to happen on Sunday against Jacksonville. You had to start somewhere. So the starting point for me was those two basics. Tackle better, which they did. Show a level of physicality that at least makes me feel like you're not being pushed around. Also, last year's defense, and maybe this had a lot to do with the bad tackling, it often felt like guys were out of position, not in the right place, making assignment errors, those sorts of things. I didn't feel like those things were evident on Sunday. You could say, well, yeah, big deal, it was the Browns, and you could focus on the outcome and say they got lucky because of their kicker. Fine. All that's well and good. But this team doesn't realize its potential if the defense is bad. In order to go from bad to good, you got to start somewhere. Sunday was a starting point. It was a test. It was not the most difficult one, but they passed it.